Imagine this. You're in the coldest, most deserted place on Earth, surrounded by nothing but ice, and suddenly, the ground cracks open, and you fall 80 feet into an icy crevasse. No sunlight, no source of food, no sound from the outside world, just the held breaths of 4 people, and a thick, frozen grave several meters above. Days pass. Your body starts to go numb, your fingers turn blue, and your mind starts to lose hope. But this team didn't give up. They began tearing through the ice, searching for hope. In the last beam of their flashlight, they supported each other, and every night, Dr. Elias would scratch a line onto the ice wall. We're still alive today. This isn't just a survival story. It's a story of human resilience, unity, and miracle. 15 days, under the ice, under the shadow of death, yet they came back alive. The year was 2009. A German research team stepped into the coldest, most desolate region of Antarctica, the East Antarctic ice sheet. This is the kind of place where human presence is almost impossible. Temperatures drop to -76°F, and for hundreds of miles, there's nothing but white silence. The mission was simple but dangerous: to extract ice core samples from beneath ice that's thousands of years old. From these samples, scientists hope to learn about Earth's climate history and whether another ice age might be coming in the future. The team had 6 members: scientists, engineers, and support staff. Together, they built a base camp there, set up insulated tents in -40°F weather, installed massive drilling machines, and managed every single resource with strict rationing. In the beginning, everything was going exactly according to plan. The weather was stable, food supplies were enough, and the team was fully charged with energy and excitement for the mission. But there was a strange kind of silence in that white emptiness, so deep that Dr. Elias wrote in his diary, "The ice feels a little too quiet today, like it's trying to warn us." No one knew. The very ice they were trying to study to understand Earth's past was the same ice that would try to bury them alive. The next afternoon, the icy winds were strong, but the weather was still considered suitable for work. The team powered up their drilling machines. The sound of ice being torn apart echoed through the white silence. Everyone was lost in their tasks, slowly slicing through ice layers, collecting samples, and monitoring every second with full focus. But then, a strange vibration was felt. At first, everyone assumed maybe it's just the machine's vibration. No one panicked, but just a few seconds later, a thin crack appeared on the surface of the ice. Then another, and then suddenly, the ground started to collapse. A loud cracking sound roared through the air, and in the very next moment, 4 team members were swallowed straight into the icy crevasse. No scream, no warning, just human hopes buried under white snow. It was pitch black below, so dark that they couldn't even see their own hands. The cold was so intense that every breath felt frozen. Above them, several meters of thick ice, as if nature itself had sealed them inside a living grave. The 2 people left on the surface kept shouting, but the walls of ice and wind swallowed their voices. They couldn't do anything, just watch. The 4 who had fallen were now 80 feet deep, with no way out, no way to contact anyone, and the scariest part, no one even knew if they were still alive. When those 4 opened their eyes, a terrifying truth stood before them. They were now inside an icy cave, 80 feet underground, surrounded by solid, freezing, deadly ice walls, and no way up. In the faint glow of a flashlight, only their freezing breaths were visible, and on their faces, fear, exhaustion, and a strange helplessness. Some gear had fallen down with them during the fall. 1 small emergency tent, just 3 energy bars, a few batteries, and 1 thermal blanket. They immediately picked a corner, set up the tent, and made it their new home, a small first step toward surviving beneath the ice. Then they checked on each other's condition. 1 member had a minor head injury. The other 3 were physically okay, but mentally shattered. Now the real test began. No food, no light, no contact with the outside world, just darkness, freezing cold, and countless questions. The first 2 days, half an energy bar each day, they melted ice to make water, to save battery. They used the flashlight only when absolutely necessary. But by the 3rd day, 1 member's fingers started turning blue. Frostbite had set in. They immediately wrapped him in the thermal blanket, and the other 3 huddled around him all night just to preserve body heat. Inside the tent, the cold was so brutal that even the seams in their clothes started to freeze. The batteries were now running out. The flashlight's glow was getting dimmer with every passing minute, and when darkness took over completely, keeping track of time became impossible. But in the middle of all this, only one thing survived: hope. Dr. Elias would write one line in his notebook every night: "We're alive, still today." That one line became the echoing hope inside those icy walls, like a force in the darkness, pulling them toward the next day. The two members left above were in shock. The screams of their four teammates and then the sudden silence still echoed in their minds. They immediately ran back to base camp to send out a rescue call, but the signal kept cutting out again and again. The satellite connection was completely blocked due to the snowstorm. After hours of effort, finally, an SOS message managed to reach McMurdo Station, but a helicopter couldn't be sent right away. The weather was so bad that no flights were possible for the next 5 days. Now they had only 2 choices. Either sit at base camp and just wait, or risk their own lives and take action. They made their decision. Until help arrived, they would personally carry ropes, a tent, and a heater to the edge of the crevice. In the middle of a snowstorm, in minus 40 degrees temperatures, they slowly prepared a small emergency tent, which included warm clothes, a thermal blanket, and some emergency food packs. Then, tying that tent with long ropes, they began carefully lowering it down into the crevasse. And the moment one of the trapped members below touched that rope, for the first time they felt, "We haven't been forgotten." That tiny tent, in those conditions, felt nothing less than a message from an angel. Now 10 days had passed, and the condition of the 4 buried under the ice was getting worse with each passing day. The energy bars were completely finished. Now they were only melting ice for water, but it wasn't enough to keep their bodies functioning. One member's condition kept deteriorating. His lips had turned blue, his body was shivering, and he was slipping in and out of consciousness. The other 3 kept trying to keep him warm, but the ice of Antarctica has mercy on no one. They no longer had the strength to scream, or even the support of light. The last battery of the flashlight had run out on the 9th day. Now, inside the tent, only the sound of breathing remained, echoing back from the icy walls. Every day, every minute had now become a battle, not just for the body, but for the mind too. Sometimes, just looking at each other, it felt like, is anyone even coming? Or are we just here, waiting to fade away? And yet, Dr. Elias kept carving one mark into the ice wall each day. Still alive today, those marks had now become the proof of a war. The 15th day, there was no longer any complaint about hunger. No sense of pain. Their bodies had gone numb, and their minds emptied of every last hope. Inside the tent, only 3 people were left now. The 4th had taken his final breath on the 13th day. They had respectfully covered his body in a corner. But that same morning, something different happened. The howling of the icy winds began to quiet down, and the sky looked a little clearer. 2 rescue helicopters took off from McMurdo Station. According to the last GPS tracking, one of the helicopters reached the area around noon, where now there was only a vast white sheet of snow. From above, nothing could be seen, but then suddenly, a slight movement was noticed, as if someone had tugged on the tent's rope. The rescue team descended immediately. A flare was dropped down, and for the first time in 15 days, the 3 survivors saw light. They couldn't scream. They had no strength left, but their eyes were filled with tears. After hours of effort, the rescue team pulled all 3 out from the ice, weak, frozen, but alive. And as the helicopter lifted off, there was just one question on every face. Did we really survive? 15 days, under a frozen glacier, where there was no light, no way out, no hope, and no guarantee of making it out alive. And yet, 3 people returned alive. This story didn't just show a survival. It proved that a human's greatest strength isn't the body, it's their spirit. Where the body gives up, the determination of the mind, the support of one another, and the hope carved into the wall each day, still alive, can create miracles. The kind even science can't explain. Coming out of that white grave in Antarctica was a miracle, but the even greater miracle was how they never gave up, not even for a single day. If this story touched you, then please share it. Because who knows, maybe one day, for someone, a story like this might become their reason to stay alive.